And this is part 9. Eric, Giver, thank you.
Hey.
Hey, give it the rest. Give her the rest. Really? Come on. Hey, give her the seatbelt.
Please. We gotta go.
Can we go? Eric, thank you. Hey, Eric, you gonna turn your wipers on for me? Anything? Come on. Okay, yeah, see? And stuff. What the fuck?
We're gonna do a little bit of a story time about Eric. Only two people have driven that truck since I've owned it. First one, he backed up and rolled over their foot because they didn't properly put him in park, but they did. Second one, high school friend. She borrowed my truck. She's coming back. The hood pops up and blinds her for 2 blocks. She almost wrecks into like 3 people. I've got more stories about every time somebody else tries to drive that truck. But, my grandmother tried to drive it. It almost put her ass into the fucking ditch. There was a 120-foot embankment down the other side. Yeah. Story time number 2. So, I'd been up for about 2 days. I'd just worked an 18-hour shift. Stayed up all night and then couldn't go to sleep the next day. And then I had to drive my old lady, my now ex-girlfriend, all the way back up to northern Kentucky for winter break from college. And about halfway there, I dozed off. She's on the phone with her mom. She reaches over, punches me, and goes, "Are you asleep?" And I go, "Oh, fuck." Come to find out, my foot had slipped off the gas pedal, and she had noticed that I wasn't awake, like 2 miles back. Mind you, this was up and down hills and around corners and shit. The truck drove itself, and there is no coast, or whatever, on that. Kind of similar. The passenger side door, there's no trick to actually opening it from the inside or the outside. But I was having an argument with an ex-girlfriend of mine, and she wanted to get out and have the argument outside, and I didn't want to have it because I wanted to have it in the truck. Well, she tried like 5 or 6 times to open the door, and it wouldn't open all the way. And so finally she just gave up, and we hashed it out. Everything was good, and then when everybody was copacetic and happy, that door finally fucking opened. Second of all, the passenger side fucking seatbelt will quite literally just have a mind of its own, and if my truck doesn't like you, guess what? No seatbelt for you. So, part 3 of how I know this motherfucker is alive. I'd been saying for like 2 or 3 years that when the 454 goes out, I was going to diesel swap him. Well, I didn't. The 454 finally gave up the ghost, and I went and bought a 95 Suburban and pulled the motor out of it and dropped it in there. And some of you may be saying, "Oh, well, you know, it was a shit motor." No, it wasn't. That motor pulled that truck across 2 fucking states before I pulled it out, dropped it the fuck in, and it was running because I pulled it up to the shop and dropped it in. That motherfucker ate it. Kicked a fucking rod, spun a bearing, and then before it even rolled out of the fucking shop, it wouldn't even run and idle. So turn around, buy a 6.2, drop it in, turn the key, fire it right off. So this is part 6 of how I know this motherfucker is alive. So y'all know how when you put a vehicle up in park, sometimes they'll roll forwards or backwards, maybe an inch or so. Well, when I was 9, I pulled this truck out into the field to pull some hay bales and stuff that we had loaded up. And the hay bale trailer has a steer axle on it, so you can pick up the tongue of it real easily. It's just, straight bar. But I picked it up and went to go put it in, and the truck was too far forward, away from the tongue of the trailer. So when I went to go pick it up and go slide it and on, I realized that I was too far back, and before I could do anything, this big old lug backed up about 8-9 inches, so that I could drop the pin in, helping little old Tyke me out. Yep. So, as some of you all may know, I was raised by my grandparents, but my grandfather actually drove my mom to the hospital to give birth to me in this truck. Well, he made her sit in the back seat, because even then, my grandparents knew that my mom was not the best. Anyway, but that man drove her to the hospital, and when he drove her to the hospital, he made her sit in the back seat. And then when they finally got custody of me, or whatever, I sat in the front seat in the passenger side. Well, my grandfather's very first remark to me was, just like old times, except for this time you can actually wear the seatbelt versus having the seat through the seatbelt. I'm very inclined to believe what that comment says. Reason why is because everything came from the earth, and everything slowly returns to the earth. And if you think about it, the earth is everything's home. You came from the earth, the plants you eat, the air you breathe all come from the earth, and vehicles even we drive come from the earth. It's just they have a very different aspect from it, because they have electrical impulses, they consume fuel from the earth, they create energy through the consumption of that fuel, and they move. I just think it takes them a little bit longer. Like that black Malibu back there is not going to be as alive as Eric is, because it takes them a minute to realize their new configuration and, become what they are. So this is part 11. So when I was a little kid, my grandfather would smoke, but I'd be sitting in the passenger seat, and I very clearly remember never, ever, ever being strong enough to roll that passenger side window down. Even some days today, I'm still not strong enough to roll it completely down. But I very clearly remember my grandfather used to sit in the driver's seat and smoke. He'd smoke with the windows up. What Eric would do, because I was not strong enough to roll the window down, is he would crack it as soon as we hit a bump. It'd fall down about that much, and it'd just fall down on its own. And my grandfather used to say, "Damn truck," every time he had to put the window back up. But yeah, part 11. Okay, so here's another one from when I was a kid. On the back, actually, I can show you. So when I was a kid, I made this trailer hitch. Well, not that trailer. I kind of made that one. I welded that. Anyway, but I made this hitch. It's welded into the frame, fully boxed off, fully welded in. But I was 12 when I made that. But as I was welding that, basically what happened was he fired up. And when he fired up, he backed over top of me, running me over in the process. I was between the wheels, underneath welding. And he backs out of the barn, trying to get away from me welding that trailer hitch on, and ran me the fuck over in the process. Part 18? Part 19 of how I know Eric is alive? Or is it 17? I don't fucking know. So, yesterday, I bought a fuck ton of, oil parts and stuff. 2 5-quart things of oil and a filter and shit. And it was dark by the time I got home, so I figured, fuck it, I'll do it tomorrow.
This motherfucker blows out an oil cooler line connection. You can see right there. Blew that motherfucker out. So I'd put all new fucking oil in it today. Thank God somebody actually fucking honked and let me fucking know he was pouring oil all over the fucking road. So he's got all new oil in him today. Now I need to change filter. So, this is Eric the Red, and he is alive. Here's another story on why. So, just this past weekend, we drove him completely unsupported all the way up to Wyoming. Well, when we drove him completely unsupported all the way up to Wyoming, we took the dog. Well, the dog was sitting in the back seat while we were sitting in the front seat. The dog apparently had had enough of it at some point and took a shit in the back seat. About made me gag, about made her gag, and nobody was happy. Not even the dog. So, today, or yesterday, as I was unloading the dog, that door tries to slam shut in the dog's face. Mind you, that door will stay the fuck open. Because that is the best shutting door I have on the entire truck. Yep. This motherfucker's alive. Here's another story on why. So, if some of you may remember, I turned up the injection pump a little. Not a lot. I think I actually put it back right where it was. Anyway, but I didn't have to roll the motor over in order to get to that. Yesterday, I had a torque converter bolt come loose, and I could hear it because it was rattling really fucking bad. Well, there's 8 of them under there. Didn't know which one. He showed me which one, because it was the one directly on the bottom. See that saw blade right there? Yeah, that one. That one. That's a flex plate. That's a torque converter. Right there. One of those bolts was loose. And I didn't have to roll the motor over. This motherfucker has jokes. So, I was driving him back from the store on lunch, and all of a sudden, he's about ready to shift gears into second gear, and I just hear knock, 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 knock. Exactly like a fucking rod knock. I let off of it. I about shit a fucking brick. I was like, oh fuck. I just fucking blew the motor up. What the fuck? Coast him all the way down to the hill. Pull up to the stoplight. Sounds fine. No knock, no nothing. Not a goddamn motherfucking thing wrong with him. I take off from the light. No knock, no nothing, no anything. He broke a fucking torque converter bolt. So, I have to now dig a fucking torque converter bolt out of the fucking torque converter. You're a dick. You are a dick. Dad's not feeling well, so I don't either. I'm just gonna eat my starter. Fucking really, dude? Fucking seriously? I cut myself, and you're gonna eat a fucking starter? Seriously? Come on, man. When I feel bad, you still work. Correction. When I feel bad, you quit working. When I feel good, you keep working. When you feel bad, I still have to fucking work. Seriously, come on, dude. What the fuck is this? This is bullshit, and you know it. $269 fucking dollars for a brand new starter for you. Come on, man. Why do you do this? So, when he had the 454 in him, he would every now and then, he'd just foul a bunch of plugs for no good fucking reason at all, just because he wants to be worked on. And, well, he just found a bunch of he found 4 or 3 or something fucking glow plugs, so I pull them out, they look all okay-ish, except for they're just covered in soot.
So I stick 3 fucking glow plugs in him, and I ordered 4. But I fucking hit the glow plugs, let him run for 5 seconds, turn him the fuck back off, hit the switch, and he fires right the fuck up. And it was violent as shit, and it was smoky, because I only did 3, but I didn't really care. But he fired right the fuck up. This motherfucker's alive, and that's another reason on why.
So there's actually 2 answers for that. One was when I was 13. I was taking the truck down the road. It's kind of hard to see, actually. But he sits about 3/4 of an inch lower on this side. But I was pretty sure I was 13. I was driving him down the road, and this front coil spring shot out. It was the very first time I ever actually took the truck out on the road. Before that, I'd taken him all over the farm and this, that, and the other. But that coil spring actually shot out, and I was 13 when that happened. And then there's that one. That's kind of scary for anybody. But yeah, you can actually see that I got it running. Okay, so I just realized I don't have my coffee mug in here. And yeah, let's see if he held on to it, because it should be out on the front bumper right behind the bull bar. See if because this is a pretty fucking rough road. Let's see if he held on to it. Oh, fuck yeah. Yep, he held on to it. And that is another reason why he is alive. He saves my coffee cup. Because I'm a moron, and I will leave that bitch anywhere and everywhere. Oh, I'm rather fond of this definition of life, because anything that is capable of eating, metabolizing, breathing, excreting, and moving. However, there are 2 parts he does not comply with: reproduction and growing. But I'm okay with that, because he does everything else, including responding to external stimuli. Eric is alive because he does everything except for those 2 things. He even responds to external stimuli. Yeah.